I've been a fan since FNAF, since around the time the second game was released. The theories were very rampant, and I remember them very well. And I've been thinking about the FNAF lore and trying to piece the story together. I guess, like, start over. I've been into FNAF lore since. I've been into FNAF since around the second time was released. I've been trying to piece the puzzle, the non-existent, non-correct. I've been thinking a lot about FNAF lore recently, and I've come to the realization. I'm gonna cry. I've been thinking about FNAF lore recently, and especially about the timeline, how it just doesn't really make sense in my mind. I was really hoping that the movie that we got earlier last year during Halloween would answer some of the questions, like who the Bite of 87 was, or even who done it, because we still don't know that to this day. It's very disappointing. None of that lore matters anymore. It's all about the Bite of 83 now. But I would still like answers. And unfortunately, like, the movie just kind of hammers in stuff you already know, like, oh, the 5 victims, blah 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 blah, the 5 victims, stuff that's like, we already knew this since, like, FNAF 1. FNAF, like, don't get me wrong, FNAF lore is very convoluted and confusing, but the 5 victims and Springtrap are, like, the things that we as a community are, like, 100% got that. Everything else, it's all vague maybes. That's what this franchise is, just vague maybes. And I've compiled, but, like, we know thoughts. It's like 3 a.m. right now. So, in FNAF 1, we have a phone guy's dialogue, which reveals it's presented to us. We got the Bite 87 introduced. We got like night mode and all that. And then we got like the death and all. But I think the most damning piece of evidence for like unraveling the lore in FNAF 1 is actually the posters, which is the Easter egg you might get in like a random chance instead of the safety regulations. And I've put them here. Here was one. 2 local children were reported lured into the back room during the late hours of operation at Freddy Fazbear Pizza on the night of June 27th. While video surveillance identified the man responsible and led to his capture, the following morning the children themselves were never found and was presumed dead. Police think that the suspect dressed as a company mascot to earn this children's trust. This is interesting because it said the man was captured. I wish you had more into that. It seems kind of retconned. 5 children are now linked to the incident at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where a man dressed as a cartoon. Why am I so tired? Cartoon mascot lured them into. Lured them. Did I make that typo? Or was this on the piece of paper? Yeah, that's my typo. Lured them into the back room. While the suspect has been charged, the bodies themselves were never found. Freddy Fazbear Pizza has been fighting an uphill battle ever since to convince families to return to the pizzeria. It is a tragedy. Oh, yeah. Yeah, pizzeria is spelled with an A. I don't think that's correct. Fun fact, on all these posters, pizzeria is spelled with an A on the posters, and I don't think that's correct spelling, but, like, who am I to say my spelling is horrible? Everything looks, all the words just look so scrambled to me. Local pizzeria Freddy Fazbear's Pizza has been threatened again with shutdown by the health department over reports of foul odor coming from the much-loved animal mascots. People who were contacted when parents reportedly noticed what appeared to be blood and mucus around the eyes and mouths of the mascots. One parent likened them to reanimated carcasses. Last one. After a long struggle to stay in business after a tragedy that took place there may be years ago, Freddy Fazbear Pizza announced that it was closed by year's end. Despite a year-long search for a buyer, companies seemed unwilling to be associated with the company. These characters will live on in the hearts of CEOs. These characters will live on. CEO. Okay, so now that I've read all that, this is like the starting point. This was level. This was like FNAF 1, people really interested in the lore, and Scott Coffin was like, oh, look at that, I'm kind of impressed. And then he added FNAF 2. Now, like I said, FNAF lore is very, maybe this. It's all just a bunch of maybes. Scott Coffin really does not like giving us conclusive answers, even while in the long run, those answers just do not matter. Like, who were the names of this character? Who did this? I don't know. Could be anything. Go theorize, yes. But the interesting thing is that FNAF 1, if it didn't get popular, and it did, it got very, very popular, Scott Coffin would have just presumably stopped making games. So this game really was supposed to be a standalone game. There's no supposed to be series. There was no supposed to be FNAF 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. It's just FNAF 1. But then it blew up. As we know today, it became like the next big thing. It became a staple of indie games as a whole. I can really tell that the story and the lore is pieced together while this man continues making a game. It's not thought out before he makes it. It just kind of go along and make the story. And this series was supposed to end 4 times. It was supposed to end at FNAF 3, then FNAF 4, then it was Pizzeria, and it was all that. And it just kept going and going, and the more it kept going, the more things just didn't add up. At this point, you really can't solve FNAF lore. Look at this is what we got later on, years later. We didn't know the names of the victims of the original animatronics, and we still don't know which belongs to. We know just by assumptions, really good assumptions, that Susie, the only girl victim in the 5. Cassie, we already know that Cassie is Golden Freddy, and I'll later on, but the stage animatronics, the 4 ones, the original, we can be like, oh yeah, Chica's possessed by the one. Like, we already know. Like, it's just, but we don't know if like Gabriel is possessing Freddy, like Bonnie, us, Foxy. We don't know. And if Scott has given us this, I can't find it anywhere. It's just like, oh my god, it's just like we have all this like crumbs, but they won't give us like the full meal, even on the wrong one. Like, knowing the names of who were the FNAF launchers, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter at all. Like, just give us this. And here are the four. I feel like if you really have never, if you know very little about FNAF, it's gonna be very confusing. But I have here are the four I'm talking about. I'm assuming the fifth one. Is this just because the newspaper mentioned 4 victims? I've got. Oh my god. Like, it's just, we know that Susie, which is possessed by Chica right here, like she got lured because William was like, oh, I got your dog, go in the back room, and then the dog was killed too. Oh, I remember during FNAF, people thought that Mango was possessed by the dog, and now I feel like we don't really have new theories or stuff like that anymore that we did back then, but I don't think that's true. Honestly, with the movie, I think the one thing that gave us just like the cupcake is always like barking and growling, and I'm making this assumption because I also like this again because the cupcake is always with Chica that the dog is possessing the cupcake. But we don't know. We never got like a solid like statement that's like, yes, the possession actually is possessed by the cupcake. The cupcake is possessed by the dog. I would like that though. I just saw no confusion, no ooh, Scott Havens confirmed this, so it could be that. Nope, none of that. Just solid answers. This is the 5th soul. This is like the 4 ones. They're like, we already know that Susie's possessing Chica, and 4, it's one of those, it's Fritz or whatever's on the gravestone could be one of them, but Golden Freddy still has a lot of fears to him. Like, people speculate that it's Cassidy, the crying child, or both. I'm leaning towards Cassidy, maybe both. I don't think it's just the crying child alone. But we don't know. Like, nothing really is confirmed to us, just theories. I just wanna, FNAF 2 is where, FNAF 2 is the most messiest. Like, you just tell that this series was not supposed to keep going to the second one. It was made, a couple months after the first one. It was just, really rushed, almost, as much as I love the second one. And Mingle's my favorite. We got Mingle from the second one. But as much as people really go on about, the later games, we have all this science core energy, very futuristic. This was in FNAF 2 as well. People don't really remember that. A safe assumption, because it's been years, and just I really don't think he's possessed. People used to speculate who these could be possessed to. I don't think any of the animatronics are possessed. I think they're just we just take it at face value that yes, these animatronics really are that advanced, and they can detect faces and see if you're not supposed to be there. I don't think they're possessed. I think that when the Night Guard said in FNAF 2 that about the night mode, that's baloney. Like, we know that they're just animatronics are possessed. There's no night mode. But like this, what can I say? I really believe that there's no possession. There's no possession whatsoever. They're just that advanced. And knowing what we know now, because the series got a really like futuristic angle, it's like the more in the past a timeline is, the more futuristic it is. It's like really, really sci-fi. But the series always gone sci-fi, so it's like, this is just like, it just got more and more. We got like more info on the Bite 87 people. That was like the biggest theory and all that. Oh, we don't know who it is, and we know who did it. Like the Bite 87 just kind of stopped existing or being important. Like, it completely got replaced with Bite of 83 in FNAF 4. I truly believe that's a retcon. Like, in the code, there's a lot of 87, 87, 87. In the game, none of that. It's just the Bite of 83. Like, my fear, because we don't have any confirmation. It's just, I believe that Mangle. It was Mangle. Mangle did the bite. It was the previous night guard, like Jeremy or whatever. He was the one bitten. Maybe he's alive, maybe he's not. Who knows? We don't. It's just the bite isn't stop being important. Like, complete retcon. FNAF 3. This is a step up from FNAF 2 lore-wise. It's more, like, consistent. It's more put together. Like, Willie and Afton. Like, we know that's the purple guy. That Willie and Afton. I don't know if you know it was Willie and Afton back then. So we got that name from the books. Not the game. We started calling that. But Willie and Afton. He was the murderer. He got spring-trapped. Like, because of water. That makes no sense whatsoever. Like, what in the... I don't even know what, like, that is. Springtrap suit? Why would you do that to yourselves? Why? I can't even, like, process that. Springtrap suit or whatever. He's dead. He's possessed by karma, he's possessed by his little bunny suit. Like, that's consistent. Like, FNAF 2 had a lot of loose ends. Like, I remember one of the big three was the beak. It was like Torchica's beak. She was like, oh, she's not carrying it most of the time. Maybe she did the bite. Maybe that's like a hint. And Scott Cawthon's response was, I just thought it was scary. Nothing came of it, It's just like, there's so many, like, things that we are just stop mattering. It didn't matter, or it stopped mattering later on. And we just never got a confirmation on it, even though I would like to. Just so we can get rid of these, like, loose ends. Because, like, FNAF lore, it hurts my brain. It just, like, the talent makes no sense. Like, FNAF 4 could be a dream. Probably not. We don't know how the animatronics function in that game. Are they hallucinations from like just being like you just being scared by your brother like all the time, or is it just like, or is it like the discs, the nightmare discs that are just brought up in the books? We don't know. In the long run, it doesn't matter. All I have to know is there's scary nightmare animatronics in the fourth game. Like, and presumably the crying child, died on the hospital. I think. I don't know. I think it's a safer theory. He could have died, like, instantly from the bite, or he could have, like, kind of survived and died in the hospital. We don't know. I don't know. FNAF 4. Yes, 4 is Wonky too. Search location. This one really confuses me. I thought this was the latest timeline. This happened, like, the latest. Before Pizzeria Simulator. But after everything else. No, I guess not. It happens before everything else. Maybe. I really don't know. I never thought of this as people would, like, brought it up to me. But Michael Afton, whatever, spoilers, he died at the end of the game. And he's, like, just walking carcass. I just kind of thought he, like, hid. Like, what are you supposed to do? Obviously, he had to get this job. Get all these night guard jobs before he became a carcass. But honestly, I'm not even sure anymore. Maybe he just walked right by and was like, "Hey, can I have this job?" And they're like, you know what? No one else is taking it. Go right ahead. You look like a zombie. And you know what? And that would fit perfectly into FNAF Logic, because FNAF Logic is just so silly at the end of it. So goofy. Like, but I just want you to know that it is possible that this walking carcass is just working this job. I really thought, I was like, he couldn't be, like, how do you do that? How do you even, like, I guess, how do you, like, go outside? You're walking car. I just thought, like, hid in the sewers for, like, until, like, he got burned alive or something. No, I mean, he could have got the job as a carcass. Awesome. We also got, do you guys remember the TV segments? Those were like, oh, people are theorizing, what could it mean? Oh my god, it's William Afton and his wife. And to be fair, it probably is William Afton and his wife. But it never went anywhere. I don't know what it can mean. It got dropped. Got dropped like me as a baby. Like, it's gone. It's not full up again. There's just so many loose plot points and retcons. So for anyone's like, I don't watch FNAF 4. And no one does. Like, no one does. There's even the people who are, like, so sure. There's always gaps where it's like, you couldn't interpret this or that. Because we don't have a clear answer. And you know what? There never was a clear answer. That's just FNAF 4. And with Steel Wool taking over instead of Scott Kaufman because he retired, it's only gonna get worse. Like, there's, like, a different, like, a generation now. Like, Steel Wool games, that's a different generation. Like, it's like you might just count it as a completely different timeline. Cause it's just, I mean, the same, like, non-answers are there, it's like, who's the blob? Who consists of it? Is it just the possessed animatronics? Is it, like, everyone that's, like, ever in this game? Does that include the toy animatronics? Because they're not possessed. Or not, like, yeah, 100% sure they're not possessed. Are they part of the blob? Why? Like, oh my god, I lost my train of thought again. What was it called? Remnant? Now we have Remnant now? Revenant, whatever it's called, Revenant, the lingering chemical. Now we have like more science. It just keeps getting more. It's just like this series like needs a reboot. There's just so many like loose plot points and retcons. It just lost the plot a long time ago. Like, you ever like analyze it? It doesn't make any sense. Like, there's so many things I haven't even mentioned in this video. Like Lefty, Righty. Oh my god, I don't even remember the one that's like. There is. I wonder who, like, what would you like for the people who are watching this that have no knowledge of FNAF, or like very limited. Like, I kid you not, there is like I might be making this up. I might not be. Like, honestly, like you would probably assume I was, but like there is a like animatronic sent to protect like the daughter of the original inventor. And she was Emily. She possessed the puppet because the puppet and her like fused, and then the puppet which possesses that girl got captured by Lefty. So Lefty's possessed by another. So Lefty has, or is it Righty? I don't even know. But one of the animatronics has animatronic that has the possessed child, and they had this elaborate plan to do that. You have this all capture plan, and then burn the building down. And there's multiple fires in this franchise, by the way. I just want you to know, FNAF lore is wild. It makes no sense. It is silly, and the timelines are wonky. They never fit in perfectly. Like, I tried multiple times. The timeline just don't fit in perfectly. They don't even fit in like well. It's like two different puzzle sets. It's just not fitting in. Like, you're just gonna have missing puzzles. It's just like this franchise, man. Like I don't know why they do this to me. Just let me know. Just let me know who did the bite of 87. Like, make that relevant again. I just want an answer. Like, you can forget about it. I mean, you pretty much did. I just want an answer. You hear me? Anyway, thanks for watching. If you've like stuck by this far, I commend you. I don't even know if this is illegible, but in